Hi, I'm Sarah from the upcoming. A real pleasure to have you here with us at London Film Festival. Thanks so much for taking the time. Maybe you can begin with an introduction to your film. For people who haven't seen it yet, what can they expect going in?
So hi, I'm Sainsbury. This is Gabi Dao, and our film's called Resurrect Me As a Parasite. Our film is an experimental 16mm short film which tells the story of a trio of vampires that bring a new host within their community, and it's filmed within the sacred site of Mary Magdalene's grotto in Saint Barm in the south of France, as well as the ENCI quarry in Maastricht.
Where on earth did you get the idea? Where did you get the concept, and why did you want to make it?
So we both started with the location of the grotto of Mary Magdalene, and I think both of us just have an interest in sites of refuge, sites of spiritual and ecological refuge. The Mary Magdalene grotto is in a protected forest of Saint Baume that has a very particular and diverse ecology. And when we found the site, we were just immediately kind of drawn to it. Inside is it's constantly raining in the cave, and so it's very echoey, and people go there and they pilgrimage, and there's a hostel where you can stay. And yeah, Lulu has an ongoing interest in research and spiritual motherhood, and I was coming from a few years research of bats, and this is how we kind of came to the figure of the vampire, or the figure of a character that kind of would dwell in a cave.
And it's quite an original melding of different things. Were there other films or directors that you'd taken inspiration from?
I mean, I was really inspired by a lot of 80s and 90s exploitation horror films, like B-movie horror, really trashy, campy films. But we're inspired by the artists that we collaborated with. Like, we worked with John Brennan and Elisa Ferrari, who are two sound artists, on the composition, and I feel like the sound of the film really, the editing process as well. We also worked with James Parnell, who's like an incredible Vogue performer and teacher and kind of like, facilitator within the Rotterdam community, as well as like our artist friends, Max Lester and Ilo Rebas. And I think we also have independent film practices, so we were inspired by each other as well. Yeah.
And tell us about the making of it. What were some of the highlights? What were some of the challenges?
The highlight for me, and maybe, I don't know, I think for both of us, was the process of working on, it's our first collaborative 16mm film together, and something that I really enjoyed about it is it was a very organic process, and it was a process where we really just kind of trusted each other's visions and instincts, and we also did it very slowly. I think we were really lucky with this film to kind of know from the get-go that we really wanted to just care for this footage, and we really wanted to have the time and the intention for the narratives and the ideas to shift organically and be in response to the locations that we were working with and our friends that we were working with as well. We had a kind of script on a Google document that we would write on together, and we would write poetry on it. We were really inspired by the Langston Hughes poems, which is cited in the film as well. And there's some poetry that we co-wrote together, which is also cited in the film.
I guess shooting on 16mm, it feels like there's quite a few filmmakers that are going back to tangible film. I mean, I guess it has its limitations in terms of the cost, and you can't just endlessly reshoot, but perhaps there's some kind of creativity that's born out of that, of having to be quite economical, and also, of course, the look of it is something quite distinct.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 16mm celluloid filmmaking, well, you have to be so slow and methodical and sensitive to what you're shooting, and the medium of working with like a old film camera, like, it creates a kind of sensitivity of filming that is so different to this how we relate to digital cameras now, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like people are it's less intrusive when in the filming process, especially for filming around like a spiritual site.
It was really humbling as well to kind of go to a spiritual site with a camera and know that there's like an environment of reverence, and that you have this Bolex camera, which is also quite noisy, but you know that you have to be yeah, you're also like humbled to the material as well, and know that something could happen and the footage just won't turn out. And yeah.
And what do you hope people go away from watching your film thinking about, feeling?
I hope that people are interested in experimental film and feel like inspired and empowered to make film on 16 millimeter in general, because we made this film on a really humble budget. And I would really love, especially for young emerging filmmakers, to see the film and to walk away with, I could do that as well.
And what does it mean to you to have the film here as part of London Film Festival? And what's going to be next? I guess, do you see this as like, it could be a proof of concept for a feature film, or would you like to do something completely else?
Yeah, I mean, we're both really honored and thrilled to be included in the festival, and also in the context of the experimental program. Like, the programming is so fantastic. So yeah, we were really happy. Yeah, I mean, we both have our independent practices, so we're both like making short films in the future, but I think this is the first of like many short films that we're going to make together, also on 16 millimeter. We just went to Vietnam this summer and did some 16 millimeter filming in the imperial city of Hue at the tombs of Khai Dinh. Yeah, the tomb of Khai Dinh.
The last emperor of Vietnam.
Looking for like bats within the architecture of the site. So yeah, we're really excited about that.
Thank you so much for sharing all that with me. Huge congrats on having your film here. Can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.